Alrighty, Earthlings! Welcome back to the Thundering Dice channel with your boys, the Thundering Dice Brothers, and we are back with another lore versus story episode, Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 3 is on the table, on the docket for today, as it were, because we are putting it on trial and comparing it to what we know to be true. So, brief recap of the episode, we return to Numenor, some politics happen, and a queen is never crowned. Gwaihir's great-great-great-great-great-granddad shows up and squeals a little bit, which is impressive, and they should have ended the episode there. Instead, we get some Sauron fuckery with some more rings, so we know that he's been imbibing some evilness into it. We see the return of Isildur, and he is exactly as pointless as he was before, and good-naturedly silly stupid, which, disappointing, he's Isildur, not a Harfoot. Overwhelmingly though, not terrible episode. I mean, we get to see some more dwarf action, and the dwarves are actually the most interesting part of this show. I still think it's laughable that the dwarves would not be able to tunnel their way out of the mountain that they built for the last generations, but, let's suspend that disbelief, because we're in Magic Land, and the mountain is rebelling against them because of Sauron's fuckery.
That actually is exactly what is happening. Yeah, the mountain is in rebellion.
And then we've got the forging of more rings, which actually have already been forged, but are now going to be forged, and we're going to go to a place in Middle-earth inhabited by Numenorians that haven't existed yet, so the timeline is all kinds of squiggly again, so shocker. Best thing by the episode, no Gandalf, no Harfoots, no Galadriel, no Elrond, no just some plain old dwarven humility. There we go.
And then some really bad wannabe subterfuge, subplots, treasonous talk in Numenor, which would have been extremely easy to shut down. All Valandil had to do was go to the queen and be like, yo, I openly heard Pharazôn and others talking about your deposement. You got a problem here.
And instead, he goes up to them and confronts them.
You want
to fight? And then
fight?
Still does nothing. So, at best, going up to them and confronting them would have made them pause. At worst, they would have just fucking killed him. They're already cool with treason against the queen, regent, soon to be queen. So, you really think that these politically conniving people aren't gonna murder him?
Yeah, they're freaking lusting for power. And then let's just go to the coronation scene, because it really irks me the way Pharazôn gains power. Because, so in here, he basically conspires with some other people to get Arundel to say different version of, oh shit, she takes her orders from the
Elfstone.
The Elfstone, the Palantir, which you wouldn't understand exactly what it is. I mean, it doesn't matter that she found it in the thing and then saw the vision. It's still like the whole sequence of events is really stupid. The fact that she steals it, how the fuck does she get it out of the king's palace, for one? I mean, there's still a buttload of guards around, and it's not like she, hid it up her cooch, because it's a massive fucking ball. So, so she just presents it to the crowd, and the crowd knows about the Palantir, because it's not necessarily common knowledge in Numenor what the Palantir are.
Obviously, because everyone seemed real shocked by it.
Yeah, and then Pharazôn, says lies. No true ruler of Numenor would take orders from an Elfstone. And then Miriel obviously steps in it, and she's like, no, I can't have it destroyed. And then Elendil tries to pick it up. He gets thrown across the room for no good freaking reason.
Which doesn't make sense to me, because he's the lineage of Numenor. Only Numenorians should be able to use it, so therefore I imagine he'd be able to use it.
Yeah.
We know it's a lineage of kings because Aragorn uses it.
His birthright lineage goes through his, Elendil. So it doesn't make sense that. And then the eagle swoops down, and Pharazôn is smart enough to walk towards the eagle, and then his co-conspirator just starts, Pharazôn. All right, that's how Rings of Power does it. Now, in the lore, it's a lot more insidious. When Tar Palantir dies, to usurp the power from Miriel, Pharazôn marries her and becomes king that way. He marries his cousin and takes power in Numenor.
Much more Tolkien-esque right there. Having just read The Children of Húrin, that sounds a lot more on brand for the Tolkien Legendarium, which is a mythology, and mythology is full of weird people doing weird things, including marrying their cousins and sisters.
Yeah, and basically I mean, this is against her will, too, that she is not a willing participant here. Basically, straight up, yeah, marital R-words her.
Okay.
So, way more fucked up, way more insidious. Why not go with the original plot line? Because that actually would make a lot more sense. And then also, why are you doing it so fucking quickly? If you wanted this to be a Game of Thrones kind of offshoot, be like, ooh, all the political things that you could totally do. Numenor is the only place that you can actually have all this political subterfuge, and you screw it up by putting it all into one fucking episode.
Yeah.
This should be an overarching plot for season 2, being like, oh my god, is Muriel going to be able to take power? How's Farazan going to be starting to maneuver around her and start stirring up hate against the faithful? All these things you could have like slowly drip fed instead of just dumping 1,000 pounds of Gatorade over the coach's head and just calling it, it's done, good, all right, this happened.
Yep, for such a long time, we've been complaining that nothing is happening. And then the writers must have heard us. And they changed everything, and now they want to have everything happen at once, at least in Numenor.
Yeah.
And everywhere else, nothing is fucking happening, really. I mean, okay, some rings are getting forged.
Yeah.
Dope. The rings of power, the words were uttered once more, just in case we forgot what show we were watching.
Yeah. And then some other, like, little fun time period things, just to think. So Isildur goes to Pelagir, and they even say Old Numenorian Settlement. Now, in the year 2251, the first of the Nazgul appear. In the year 2350, Pelagir is built. So, what the fuck?
This shit is all out of order. Yeah.
And then also, in the year 3255, Farazan seizes the Golden Scepter and becomes king. So, it's even further removed from where, like, all this time periods are supposed to be.
Forget about when the rings were actually forged.
Yeah.
Which is also not correct with any of these things.
No.
They're actually physically doing it backwards.
No, yeah. Like, the last 3 elven rings are completed in 1590.
So, thousands of years, not just like, oopsie, a couple decades. Nah.
No.
We're talking many, many, many years. I mean,
apparently the Numenorians almost live as long as elves.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this was one of the better episodes of season 2.
It was more
actually.
captivating or
like,
engaging.
I wasn't bored, and I didn't, like, pause halfway through and be like, God, there's still 30 minutes left. You know, it's a little more, like, interesting.
Stuff actually happens.
But even within the shit that's happening, they get so much wrong.
And they don't even do it well necessarily either. Like, there's so many moments where it just seems awfully predictable. You kind of know what's going to happen before it happens, really. I mean, Isildur going up to the cart and that, like, guy with 3 teeth being like, oh, can't move, look at me, man. Like, no obvious wound or anything like that. Like, pretty obviously a trap.
Yeah.
And you fell right for it. The girl that stabs him, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, fuck, really? I mean, how do you still don't know if he's a good guy or not. You just stabbed a dude that's probably a bad person. You're running away from Adar and his people because you got the brand, and it's conveniently branded, like, in an area where no one's gonna notice it right away. So
yeah. But actually, speaking of that scene, that is one of the there's a small nugget in that scene that is overlooked by a lot of people. Isildur knows not to pull the knife out of his leg because he's going to start bleeding again. Whatever her name is, doesn't know this because she has none of the more advanced knowledge that the Numenorians do, especially in medicine. So she's just like the peasant of Middle Earth who just, pulls it out. And he's like, no, why'd you do that? But he knows he shouldn't do that. But then he screws it up by trying to do a tourniquet potentially, but then not doing it, and then bandaging on top of like whatever it was supposed to be.
No idea what that bandage was supposed to be. If it's a bandage, it's backwards. You put the bandage on the wound, and then you tie the bandage onto it. You don't just tie a knot on your leg. And if you wanted to tourniquet it, it's gonna take a lot more force, believe it or not, than just a little like straight knot like that. You know, you gotta stick up in there and tie it over that, and then twist it, or at least have like some kind of leverage point where you can really torque on it to create the tourniquet effect.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there. That's a totally weird, like, movie thing.
Yeah.
Constantly, like, just take a strip of your shirt and tie it real tight and scream. And yes, then the audience will know. It's just like when you hear a gun sneck or a sword blade move, you got to have that click or that swing.
Or the little clicking from, like, when Celebrimbor gives Annatar the nugget of Mithril.
What is that clicking
click in his hands? He's not wearing any rings.
That's why I was thinking, I was like, did he palm it?
Yeah.
Because it made that click sound like, okay, either he has something metal in his palm or he is metal. And I don't think he is metal.
Yeah.
And that's how I was like, okay, well, then he does that sketchy movement between the hands, which you clarified for me is just to imbibe some Sauron evilness into it so that he can later on, he's obviously got designs and plans and machinations ahead. We know these things because we've seen how it all ends.
Yeah.
But speaking of the rings again, Sauron or Annatar / Halbrand / White Boy. Doesn't he seem like he's a little too anxious about all this? I mean, he's ancient, he's immortal. He kind of has all the time in the world. Like, what is the time pressure that he's under? Like, really? Like, or is it just they just want to move the story along because they realize we haven't in 2 seasons, so we should start?
They're driving towards the end of season 2 with the final battle of season 2.
Okay.
And they're trying to say that Annatar has some distinct knowledge that the orcs are going to be soon on the move and that Eregion is in danger, so he doesn't have many years to just chill with Celebrimbor and the Smiths, even though he just arrived there and should be spending the next 300, 400 years with them, developing their craft so Celebrimbor can make the ultimate rings of power. So it's just more just like all right, he needs to get Celebrimbor sped up.
And Celebrimbor is really quick to
fall for these really obvious traps. I mean, like, I know I guess there's one defense you can give Celebrimbor here is that he's a lot of the elves are naive by nature. Because they know about the deceiving of Sauron and Morgoth. They understand these things, but this is the Second Age, and there's been very few whispers of darkness, so they are just not on guard. And since they live such long lives, it's really easy to become complacent in your own thinking. And when someone new comes around, like Annatar, who seems like a good person, and if you're not the wisest of elves, and unfortunately no one in Eregion is an actual wise elf. I mean, Celebrimbor is the wisest of them, but even he is very much blinded by his passion and his craft. So he can just kind of fall for these more subtle hints that mortals, men, us, would just be like, the fuck did you just try to say to me? No, why are you so chill? Whoa, slow down. We got time, right? No, we don't? Why? I got a sixth sense about this. Something's wrong.
The dwarves have a sixth sense, or
at least
Durin.
Durin is just something's wrong with this.
Something I don't trust about this Annatar dude. Now, I love that whole interaction.
Funny, he never mentioned you.
Yeah. And, of course, the chief reason to be distrustful is because Elrond said that he is the wisest of all the dwarves, and with him you must treat. It's just like, oh, you're trying too hard to butter him up, yeah. So I like that little distrust. Totally predictable, of course. We knew that his father was going to turn around and make the deal, and thereby save Moria, or stave off Moria's decline for now. Yeah. We also know that the rings don't work on the dwarves the way that Sauron wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. They have a different effect on how it works, and they show it later on somewhat in this season. And
that quickly, man, they really speed run shit. I mean, see, that's the problem with creating a TV show over a time span that is thousands of years and then not being able to nail down what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think someone was like, what's really cool? Rings of Power. It sounds dope. It's obviously tied to the Lord of the Rings. They've talked about the Rings of Power kind of a lot in the show, in the movie, I mean. So people will get the name recognition, and we'll also say Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. We'll really nail it home. All right, cool. What's it about? I don't know. Rings of Power, dude. Isn't that like a big thing in Middle Earth? Well, yeah, but it takes thousands of years and, multiple ages for them to tell the whole story of it. Well, isn't there one part of it that you can tell that's just about the Rings of Power? Not really. Well, fuck it. I mean, just make it happen, all right? We're Amazon. Fuck you. I swear to God, that's what happened when they made this show.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's that's a perfect sum up.
And it's just disappointing, and I'm so happy that I'm at the point where I'm starting to get how it all fits together in real life, in the real Tolkien Legendarium, so I can make fun of it now a little bit. I don't have I can start finding the errors before you have to tell me what they are. And sometimes I predict what's going to happen, and I'm disappointed in the world.
It is very great when his predictions, he turns to me, he's like, oh, that's just stupid. What are they going to, these two people are going to team up? I just look at him and don't say anything, and he just kind of like, oh, no, they're not that stupid. Well, they sort of are.
We'll leave that prediction for another time because I think it's going to be funny to reveal it later.
Yeah.
When it happens, I can say this is what I thought was going to happen. I was making a freaking joke about it. But, so, out of watchability, I give it, within the context of the entire show,
It might be the best episode.
6.5 out of 10. It held my interest. It was exceeded expectations that I had for the show.
Yeah, that's a
And
good one.
let's disregard what my bar is here. You know, I'm not
Yeah,
talking.
'cause-
We're not talking Breaking Bad levels of television here, unfortunately.
No, we're talking 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
And on that spooky note, nowhere near Halloween, we bid you all a fond farewell from Middle Earth and parts beyond.
If you enjoyed this, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Tell us what you think. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what they got right, if anything. And we will see you on the next moonrise.